I know a lot of you guys are interested in Costa Rica. Maybe you live here. Maybe you follow the news here. You're interested in the goings on. Maybe you're like, oh my God, I saw the crime rate, or I saw this cool thing to do from Pico Times. I hate mentioning their name, by the way. But, a lot of people are interested. Well, but what if you had a chance to talk to the president of Costa Rica? What would you ask him? We're going to get to it in a second. Guys, I'm Michael Humph, travelcostaricanow.com. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Want to show some love? Boop. You can donate by way of buy me a coffee. The link is in the description. Just a fun way to donate. You guys know I love the coffee. Relocation retreat coming up, always coming up. Can't make it this one, make it to the next one. If Costa Rica's on your radar, but you're not quite sure, 6-7 day event probably is for you. Fun times, man. Have vacation, have information. The contacts alone are worth the price of admission. And I think at the end, you'll go, I don't know about Costa Rica, honey. We might be going to Belize. But man, we have fun. We have fun. It's my favorite thing to do. So anyway, all that information is in the link in the description. You guys know Johnny. He is, or maybe I don't even know what he does anymore. But he does a lot of medical dental tourism here. He does things like getting your grill fixed with dental implants. He gets your hip replaced. He gets stem cells shit. He gets your tits reduced to zero or whatever the hell you want to do.
A little bit of that.
But you know what he's been doing the last couple of years? Getting into politics, man. And he's getting into politics. Dude's got the president's ear. He just did his first conference. I got to ask the president some stuff. But he thought it'd be interesting because a lot of you people live here or don't live here are interested in the goings on of Costa Rica. We thought we would ask you what you would ask the president. Anyway, Johnny, thanks for chatting.
Thanks, brother.
So why don't you just outline a little bit what you have been doing the last couple of years as far as the politics? Because you don't really have too many eggs in a basket. You just have basically two eggs, medical, dental, and you're this little political thing you're starting up a little bit. So kind of outline what's been going on with that for the last, or how you got into that and what, real brief.
Well, we got into it because there's a need, Mike. There's a need in so many different ways. But rather than approach the institutions and everybody in a negative way, I try to do it in a positive way. Try to come with a solution rather than asking for something. Kind of like, that term and Kennedy had for many, that's real popular.
Yes. Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country.
Yeah. So I kind of took that to heart being an American, but I saw many people don't have a voice in this political system. So I took on this item to help, help voice the issues on the other side of the fence that don't have a say, but also to help the people in general.
Yeah, but wait a minute. But didn't it kind of start because of the medical dental thing got over into the CAJA?
Yes.
The CAJA, real quick, is a socialized medicine here. That's right. You were doing the medical dental. It kind of floated you over into the CAJA just because.
Because people that live here, always leaves it. Although Mike sometimes doesn't always listen to me on using it. Mike. Yeah, quiet. Let's be quiet.
Oh, talking to me?
Yeah, you.
Oh, shit.
It's.
But you saw the needs in the CAJA first, and it kind of got you moving.
It's just, I started by the paper trail that you submit your paperwork, you start talking to these institutions, and then you sort of get listened to because they have to respond to you in a certain amount of time. But after they respond to you, they don't have to respond to you again. It's kind of like a catch-22 that, yes, I responded to you, I heard you, but
what more do you want from me?
Basically, you got to be persistent here. You can't just do it and stop. So I kept on persisting. A lot of times I couldn't get to certain leaders, and they would give me their helpers. They're called asesores, but I call them their helpers. So we got into talking with them, and I said, you know what? There's got to be a better way. There's got to be more of a direct way to get. So I pushed for the last 2 years to be part of the press conference with the president of the country. Finally, after 2.5 years, about, I'm in there. So hence this conversation here. So I want to connect with people to understand what are their needs in their local areas. What's happening? Is it health? Is it security? What is it that? But not just for one person, but for a whole community. How can we better that?
Well, I can tell you right now, the people that watch my videos are some of the smartest, most informed, with great perspective and experiences. The people that live in Costa Rica or have been following Costa Rica. So if anybody could give you some good ideas or suggestions of what to ask the president, I think it's them, because I know they give me great feedback. I would say a lot of them will. I think it depends on the crowd, because the ones that are coming here, they've been here a couple of years, they're probably going to say CAJA.
Mm-hmm.
They're probably going to say the socialized medicine. They're probably going to have, hey, what about the immigration? It's going to be more it's going to apply to them personally, because they don't really know maybe some of the other ills that are plaguing Costa Rica, like water issues and maybe crime over here or whatever. But I think a lot of them will direct them to where what affects them.
Yeah,
now.
Here locally. Yeah,
No, now in their,
and hence that's one of the important things that when I'm addressing the president, a lot of things that what I found in the system, it starts addressing things that we're going to plan for this future. And I'm asking, okay, great, we have this plan for the future, but what about now? What about the pains that we have in now with the healthcare system being semi-digital and semi-paper? I'm bringing it up actually this next, hopefully one of your viewers will share with me, hey, you know what else you want to ask? But I want to bring up the fact that, I don't know about you, Mike, but we shouldn't have any paperwork here in the CAJA system when they have a system that for the last 14 years is digital.
Well, I mean, you're forgetting that I've kind of gone through some of this lately, just navigating to get into the advice, which is the clinic. I don't want to get them
the urgent care.
Yeah, I don't want to go that way, but I'm just saying I've done some of these things, and
you like waiting though, right?
Yeah,
you like waiting, right?
Yeah, some of these things you're doing the same thing 2 or 3 times. You're definitely sitting there going, wait a minute, why am I doing this? Or there's a lot of, even, to navigate that system, there definitely is a lot of hoops to get to where I need to be.
Hence, we're talking about that hoop. They talk about a specialist right now, Mike. It takes, I don't know,
6 months,
6 months to 2 years to see a specialist, because they make you see, they got to get it first justified, and then after it's justified, they make you wait for this paperwork for another 10 days, and then they make you take that paperwork inside the system so you can get it approved, and then you have it. And if the specialist doesn't exist in the hospital where you're at, and then they got to get that approved through management so they can send it off to this other paperwork and wait 2 years to be assigned this number.
I don't know. Don't you? I feel that's purposeful. I really do. I feel that's purposeful. I think it slows the flow. It creates bottlenecks too.
Yeah.
But I think they're accepting that.
They're accepting that as a norm. Well, you know what? You can still take the same norm, create those paper pushers into digital pushers, and have the same thing.
Yeah, but the specialists is because they don't have a ton of specialists, right?
Right. Well, right now the country has and the CAJA system has between 75 and 8,000 physicians. Out of those, there's only between 3,000 and 4,000 specialists. So it's half of that. And then the rest of them work privately.
Well, a lot of private, though, does work in the CAJA too, right?
Yeah, they do moonlight in both, but a lot of them are getting out because they get paid much more out in the private sector, and it leaves the socialized system in total avail.
So it's almost, okay, I want to make something clear. There are rich locals there's ticos that have money out the ass. This is but it seems like the private sector would be catering to a lot of gringos as well.
Of course.
But don't go, oh, it's all about, no. I hate when they take a lot of people do this whole country like everybody's living in poverty. If I turn this camera around on that mountain, you would see some of the freaking most awesome houses ever. I don't even know if they're houses. They're freaking compounds and stuff. So there is a lot of money in Costa Rica. There's rich people here. They do private sector too. But since the influx, I think, of gringos is coming here, I can see how they may see the money side of that.
Of course. With anything, it's about money. What Mike, I don't get paid to go see this conference, to this press conference in there. I'm doing it for a greater good for people that maybe can't afford or are living on a fixed income, that need this system to work. They pay for it. It should work for them, and it shouldn't have to resort to always a private. The private, sure, there's always going to be enough work for both the private and the public, but we can't leave those that don't have enough without a place to go or a resource, or having to put themselves in debt to get a resource to get done.
I have a question for you. I don't know whether you know this or not. Johnny does his homework, and he knows numbers, he knows statistics, he knows facts, he knows a lot of stuff. So when he asks a question, whoever he's talking to, whether it's the president or anybody else, knows what he's talking about. Now, my question to you is, though, do you feel like they're placating you because you're knowledgeable, or do you feel like, are you making headway, or are they just going, oh, Johnny, that's a great question. We're really working on that. And you know what I mean? Because that's politics, right? Kicking the can. Yes, we're gonna make up a team and we're gonna look into that issue. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Politics 101, kicking the can and getting rid of you almost. Like, all right, Johnny, we got it. Yeah, thanks.
Well, yes, that happens. And Mike, I would be lying to you if I don't see it happen, even if they try to do it with me. But the difference is that I do have facts. I do have items, but I don't approach it as, hey, you know what, come solve my issue. I'm approaching it, we have solutions to be able to implement that don't cost money, that you can change it to things that will help a community, and it'll help them politically too, if they want to.
Yeah, I mean, you
have to have the wanting to do this.
You said it earlier, kind of. You can't go in there and start pounding how shitty they're doing.
No.
So it's that whole vinegar. You're giving honey. You're going, hey, we have this problem. Here's a few solutions we might want to look at. Because you could easily go in there and be that correspondent that, like, what about when, you could start,
there's plenty of that.
Wagon and
Mike, there's plenty of that. There's plenty of people that are dogging the system, or something that happens.
Just being negative, negative Nellies completely.
Yeah, negative Nellies, but it's always we're looking to place blame on somebody else as human. Well, okay, you know what? It's this department, or it's this department. You know what? Stop placing blame on anybody. It's all of us, and we need to sit down and have some dialogue to make solutions happen. It's really all it is. Make a solution happen, but with dialogue. Not having to, hey, this party this or this. I hear it. It's actually it's tough, Mike. You sit there and you have all this political pressure there that this party did this or they did this or they're opposing.
It's just tribal warfare.
Yes,
tribal warfare.
Yeah, but
I mean, we see that everywhere, right?
I'm wanting to appeal to the goodwill,
sensibilities of freaking what you're saying.
Yeah, the goodwill of people, the goodwill. You know what? Costa Rican, American, doesn't matter. The goodwill of a human being to provide for another.
I'm sorry for this question because it just kind of hit my brain. How do you feel? How corrupt do you think Costa Rica government is, comparatively speaking? We all know that there's the bad players in any government. There's the senators trying to get the money, the congressmen that are beholden to the big farm or whatever. and every government's got its corruption. Some like if you went to Nicaragua, you'd see a whole nother level of corruption. You can't even talk. You can't even talk about. You can't even be negative, and that's real. I know. I have friends there. It's real.
Well, you know what? I think that the corruption you're talking about, I don't have nothing privy to see. I see what other people see, seeing that this is happening or this is could be happening, or I see the favors that are happening. Yeah, you see that, but I don't have like a book. I've been focused on how do what? How do I solve this? Because I can't solve the corruption. That's going to happen on its own. And people that do it, you know what? I look at a man. The man upstairs is looking at you. If you're going to continue hurting people, at some point it'll come back to you.
Well, let's say, okay, I'm sorry for that question. It doesn't really even flow with this. So take out the corruption. Do you feel that, like, let's say the current administration, are they trying to change things? I mean, is there a real attempt that you can go, they're listening, they're
definitely attempting to do this. But like in any democracy,
they get
pushed back from the legislative branch and the judicial branch with the laws. And they've tried to propose things, and they've tried to do everything they can to do this. But you know what? Again, I don't want to be like one-sided the president because I'm going to a press conference. No, is that you see a genuine wanting to do things. And even I'm a small YouTube channel, and they gave me an opportunity to go and voice and go and ask the questions. So they got to be open to doing something.
Yeah, or again, sorry to be negative, or they could just be like giving the appearance of. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing it.
You know what? You're right, Mike. You know what? Maybe I'm a little bit naive. I want.
My wife said that.
I want to. I want genuinely for people to have a quality of life, and this is, my way of trying to make a difference. But yeah, you know what? Yeah, you're probably right. I am probably seeing some things and all the things that we look in life. But you know what? We gotta look at we gotta give at least the benefit of the doubt to somebody.
Well, I think I like what you're doing because I kind of feel the same way. You just can't go away. You always have to be at their heels a little bit, and you always have to. When they look behind themselves, they have to see you. Yeah. They can't. You can't be good one time. You're going to have to keep going and keep going and keep going to where they almost feel obligated.
Hopefully this moves in a direction that it helps overall with everything. Mike, I'm focused on healthcare and helping people, and then even with my medical tourism. But even with that, you know what? I want things to be fair for everybody. But with people living here, even Mike, all this political climate all over around the world, it's crazy. And
yeah, that's a whole nother 10 videos, dude. That's 10 other videos.
But I hope that the goodwill that when I ask this question, hey, you know what? We need your help to do this, that they're willing enough to make that step in goodwill.
So you are kind of focusing though on CAJA related issues.
Yes.
Or you're going to go anywhere else on, or are you just going to kind of stick on your lane?
I want to focus on the most strengths I have is in health. But if there's other areas where we can help a community or voice an opinion, because I'm also part of this other group of Ticos that have concerns here as they're regionally on problems that they have. But yes, I focus a lot on health because health is only important when you're sick. And the rest of the time,
what did they say? You have 50 problems till health's one of them,
yeah.
And then you have no problems but the health.
Right, because it becomes priority. Now, we can change. My wish is that we change health in Costa Rica to be the best in the world. Okay, I know it's a big ask.
Hey man, shoot for the stars, man.
But you know what? You got to put into a system that provided life expectancy for Ticos now with the system that we have, and they're living to 80, 88 years old. That's life expectancy.
That's going to be a whole other problem.
It's going to be a whole other.
You know what I think? I mean, if I just kind of brainstorming real quick, I think you're going to need, even if it grows slowly or organically, I think you're going to need to start a Facebook group. I think you need like kind of an army behind you in a way, so people, so you can get like this, like people can ask them this about that, and start a Facebook group with whether it's focused on the CAJA or just concerns, whatever the hell it is, get some backing that can. I don't know. I mean, I'm just brainstorming. I don't know how to, but a Facebook group of like concerned
expats or concerned humans. That's more.
But obviously, you probably want to pinpoint so they know what they're getting into. But maybe it is the CAJA. So CAJA issues I like resolve Facebook page, whatever the hell. No, but the point is, you're going to need help. You need somebody else to speak for you when they're out and about. You need somebody. Hey, I got that guy Johnny's trying to do this. You should get a hold of him, or maybe you want to sponsor him, or maybe you want to go into some of the communities around and talk to some of the people at the retirement homes and have a little, donut coffee thing. And because they're kind of complacent here, dude. I mean, I don't want to generalize a whole stereotype of the whole country,
you're not,
but they tend to be a little complacent with the government. It's like, well, government said I couldn't do nothing about that. I just need to get in that line.
No, Mike, I think the Ministry of Health, okay, which is kind of like the FDA in the States. They announced.
Keep talking. I can hear you. I'm making some more coffee.
They announced that in 2032, we're going to double in size in seniors in this country. That means that our current system that we have seniors in the hospitals that occupy 60% of all beds in the hospitals are seniors. Now, 2032 is not that far off.
But if it's overwhelmed now, it's going to be.
Yeah, but that's why we can't be complacent, and that's why I've shared with even locals. You can't be complacent. You can't wait until this just blows up in your face, because we're having locals that are growing older. But even worse is that we have expats expecting to come to a country,
pay nothing for their CAJA.
Well, that's a whole other subject. But you pay into a system that should support it, and they're going to support them. But it's not going to be in the manner or enough people. At the same time, you can't. They do not have enough resources for that to happen. So we have to anticipate healthcare. We need to work in the preventive and empower the devices, which are the urgent cares, to be preventative, anticipative healthcare. So we don't get to the emergency. We don't need that specialist because they took care of it at a lower level, level 1, not get to level 2. It cannot be this continued service to refer to the hospital. The hospital is not a catch-all. It is supposed to cure people, not to treat them on a daily basis. That's what it wasn't designed for. They designed these other places to do that, but it's turned into that. And then emergencies, Mike. Emergencies has skyrocketed. You can't continue to bombard a health system when the funnel is bigger when it comes in and it's small at the end. It doesn't work. You're going to continue to have this high patient list that doesn't get resolved. It's always right, Mike. Here in San Carlos, we have a patient list, a backlog of 17,000 people. 6,000 or 7,000 of them are orthopedic. You know how many orthopedic surgeons we have here? 2. If you stopped today and didn't let anybody else into this list, and every day they're adding to this list, it would take them almost 5 years with those 2 people working 5 days a week. This is just 5 days a week, because God forbid we take away 2 days on holiday. And they don't operate every day. They have to do consulting. They have to look at these requests they have to do all this stuff, and they cannot be operating all the time. So where does that leave the person that is in the system? It leaves them to ask for help, and that's why I've made it the mission. I'm going to go with the president, and I'm going to nag until we do something.
Do you feel this passion, man? I'm right here. Man, he might have missed his calling. So here's what I want one of you guys to do out there. Start this guy a Facebook group, maybe get involved with him. You feel this? Have you ever heard him like this? This is like I could cut these into shorts, dude. Make a little TikTok reels about that shit.
Mike, it's about being human. It's about people having a voice in this country, whether you're a citizen or not. If you're a resident, you need to have a voice.
Well, you got to speak up if you have the voice, though, and I don't think they always get to speak up. But that's where we got to start.
We got to make sure that life has an end, but here in Costa Rica, life has a response that we're going to help you. And you know what? And don't get me wrong, CAJA to me is not the worst thing in the world. It's just that you have to be persistent, and you have to. They have growing pains, and we have to help change those growing pains into solutions.
All right, we're going to end it there because we'll be talking about this again at some point. Dude,
Thanks,
I think this might have been his best video ever. What do you think? He's on a roll, right? Wound him up. Guys, I'm Michael Allen for TravelCostaRicaNow.com. That's Johnny, thinking about living or traveling anywhere. Always do your homework and research. And if it's Costa Rica, I think you should check out that video there or that video there. Or you can even subscribe there. But always do your homework and research no matter where it is. All right, peace. Bye.
Peace.